Hey, so how's it going, everybody? It's been a couple of days. I may have broken my hand and fractured it. No big deal though. Honestly, it's been healing extremely quickly. It's been 3 days and I have basically full range of motion back again. And if I move it to a wrong spot, then I can feel the surge of pain or whatever. But other than that, it's not that bad. But I have a really high pain tolerance anyways, so. But today, I think what I was gonna wanna talk about, well, I kind of went into it without having an idea, but I wanna talk about unlocking different kind of psychic abilities and different states of consciousness that you can use to basically launch yourself into a different dimension of thinking and feeling. So this is all based on your beliefs and whatever you as a entity or a person are able to kind of accept as truth or reality. Because in reality, reality is a reflection of your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings and everything. So basically everything that you're feeling and happening and is happening in you is being reflected out in your reality. And in that, right into a spider web. In that point though, there's a interesting nature about reality where it's like a fractalization nature. So every part is like another fractal of a smaller or another smaller fractal of the same thing. So looking into it, in every atom of my being, oh, this is a good one. Okay, this is what I'm going to talk about today. So it's not really particularly going to be psychic abilities, but it's going to be more of like explaining why the essence of spirit is everywhere. So okay, so in every cell of your being, there is the potential for the entire macrocosm and the entire microcosm. So the cell is the microcosm, right? So the cell is the microcosm of the macrocosm. So it's basically like the basic building block of what everything is made out of when it comes down to your body. But then that cell is made up of other smaller things, and then those smaller things are made up of even smaller things. But in reality, the smallest of the small things has all of the same information in it as the entirety of the whole thing. This is how it kind of works. And the reason why is because, think about it like this, okay? You have your body, and say your body is the universe, and you're experiencing the universe through your body, or you're experiencing I know this is weird, but just keep going with me, okay? You're experiencing the universe through this body, which is the universe at the same time. So there has to be some sort of way that you can experience the universe and also be of it at the same time. Now, think about it like this. When we're born, the first thing that happens is a sperm and an egg come together and they make a cell. That cell then splits into two, and that two splits into four. So we're all made from a singular cell to start with, right? That singular cell has all of the information that is necessary to make the entirety of a human body and mind and spirit and bring it all. It doesn't have the ability to make spirit, but it has the ability to house spirit. And it basically has the latent information in it to be able to make the entire human body. This works the same way for the universe as well. Each human has the latent ability to become the entire universe, and that is what we're actually doing. Now, it's a reflection of the macrocosm and the microcosm. We are the microcosm and the macrocosm at the same time. So, in being a human being, we are the universe itself becoming conscious of it being the universe. Just the same way as a singular cell eventually becomes conscious of it being a human being. And then you realize in the human being that there is a seeming separation between the ego mind and the spirit, or the higher self mind. This is also a reflection of the macrocosm, or the microcosm. If you think about it, the first thing that happens with a cell is that it divides in two. This is really, really important for the macrocosm as well, because the only way for it to experience itself is to separate into multiple parts in order to be able to see these different things from a vantage point that is not of the entire whole. So, us being a microcosm of the macrocosm, we inherently have the information in us to be able to unlock the entire universe inside of us, because we are basically like a walking universe, each one of us. So what this is good for is to realize your connected nature with the universe, and to realize your heart, because the heart is basically like, an analogy for the heart would be the center point of your consciousness, or not even your consciousness, it's the center point of your experience and where everything flows back to. So it's the middle of your chakra centers, which would mean that it's basically like, it's the turning point of evolution. So this, once you it's like the learning backwards once you open the heart, because once the heart is open, then everything is seen to be the universe being itself. So to be able to explain this one more time, is that we're the microcosm of the macrocosm, right? So we're experiencing the macrocosm, but in reality we are also the macrocosm, because if we really look into it, the thing that we are experiencing is our perception, and we are here, and then we have what's behind our head. A lot of ancient mystics and other people, and I actually had this idea a long time ago, was that what actually is behind our head. Now we have no proof or evidence for anything being behind our head until we turn around and we look. This is actually the nature of the entire kind of cosmos, because until you turn around and look, you'll never see the reflective nature of anything, because it's not there. So, and this is so confusing for some people, I know, but like, so basically what I'm trying to get to here is that, like, you see your field of view, but then you have this emptiness or void behind you until you look at it. So it's kind of the same kind of thing as quantum. Whoa, that was close. It's kind of the same kind of thing as quantum mechanics. So, or Schrodinger's cat, if you've ever heard of that. So basically, like, they put a cat in a box, and then there's a 50-50 chance that it'll kill itself by eating a vial of poison, and then it's both alive and dead at the same time until you look at it and realize whichever one it is. So the universe works the same way. So until you turn around and you look behind you, you'll never know that there was anything behind you, because it's not manifested yet. This was a crazy realization when I had it for the first time, because I realized that yes, we assume that everything is here, but all of it in reality is just being projected in front of you, and you are able to interact with it and experience it, but none of it is tangible or real. All of it is just projection. All of it is just consciousness that is kind of, it's basically like all of these things are me, except in different forms. So say I was to be born a tree, then with the exact circumstances, I would be that tree as I would be this human. Now that in itself has a lot of different kind of information that's really useful or interesting, because then once you realize that, you realize that you have been all of these trees, and you have been all of these people, and you are being all of these people, and you will be all of these people and these trees and everything, and eventually you will be the entire universe itself. this is both liberating and it is useful, because once you realize that, then you see that the information of the entire universe is available in every single cell of every single thing that you see. And not just things, it's everything. So every single atom of the air that we breathe holds all of the etheric information of the entire universe. And once you realize this, you can use literally almost anything to tap into these Akashic records and to pull this etheric information back into yourself. This really does start to unlock some stuff in you that is latent. And this is where I kind of, I guess, can go back to where I was in the very beginning about the psychic abilities, is that once you realize these things and open your heart, which opening the heart means to see everybody as a reflection of you, or to see everything as a reflection of you. And that way you have utmost compassion and love for everything, because you hold the same compassion and love as you do for yourself, for everything else. This is the shift that we're talking about. So we have that. And then with the psychic abilities, what happens is that once you start to tap into all these different kind of layers of reality, then you can actually pull that information that comes from these deeper layers, which that information comes with a lot more ability behind it, because it's something that sits below conscious thought, or above conscious thought, really, if you want to call it that. It transcends conscious thought, and it transcends the human kind of like mind, because it's been so programmed to believe things in a specific way for a while, that it's just it's been narrowed down to the point where it's just not something that is comprehended by many anymore. But once you open your mind to being able to believe that all of this stuff is possible, and you start to literally, like, every time that you pick up a stick, you sit here and you look and you see the entire microcosm and macrocosm at the same time. When you look at that stick, and then you look at yourself, and then you see that same stick in yourself. I know it sounds weird, but you see yourself as being that stick, because you are projecting that stick. And if you are projecting that stick, then that stick has to be a part of you, because you're projecting it, and it's part of your projection. So going back to the cell thing, if you think about it, if the entire microcosm and macrocosm are in each cell, and that cell is a part of you, now there's two different things, like with death, right? Think about it like this, is when a cell dies and it leaves your body, it's no longer technically a part of your body or this universe, but it's still a cell that's in this entire macrocosm, right? So in that, you can see that just because a cell dies and then it leaves the body, it doesn't mean that the cell is gone forever. It just means that it's changed states of consciousness, or states of being, from being attached to a body to now being attached to air, right? So each one of these cells has a lifespan, and they live, and then they move on into another kind of state of being. All of this stuff is really useful, because once you see the microcosm and the macrocosm and everything, then you can start to gain this etheric information, and you can start to see how amazing this actually is, that life is like this, and that we have the opportunity to be able to realize this stuff. It brings so much power to you, and it brings so much, like, just absolute joy for existence, because you start to see that this is literally a miracle that's been given to you by yourself. And it's a gift of something that is of a magnitude that is impossible to comprehend, because it's so vast. It's literally like you're being gifted the entire universe right now, you know? Each one of us is being gifted the entire universe for ourselves. Why? Because we are the universe ourselves. That's literally it. We are the universe. We're the entire universe. The biggest planet, the biggest star, the entire vastness of empty space, and every one of the smallest grains of sand. We are all of that. And once you see this, you can start to open yourself to intelligent infinity, and you can start to gain some of this understanding that is sitting in every single one of these cells of every single living thing. It's almost like once you start to tap into all this stuff, then you can actually just like, you don't really have to do anything. You just understand that you are this thing, and then you automatically gain all the information that thing has because you are it. You see? It's that easy. That's why opening the heart is the easiest way to gain psychic abilities, is because once you realize that you are all these different things, you literally, as soon as you see them and you recognize that you are that, like you are that thing is being projected from you, and that is a projection of you, and you see that thing has the ability that you want, right? Or that thing has something that you think is impressive or something like that. You realize that is just a projection of your own consciousness, and then you immediately are able to tap into the exact same things because that is you, literally. You see, and it's not like you're stealing anything because it's all coming from yourself anyways. And don't take this in a selfish way, because some people, when they have this realization, they get really, really selfish, and then they try to do the service to self path. But none of this will work if you don't open the heart and you don't see everybody as being a part of yourself and love that. Because if you try to just like come at it with like, oh, I want what you have to give me, and then you just try to steal whatever it is that they have by recognizing that you are them, then you're literally just trying to steal from yourself. Now think about it like this: if you were yourself, right, the way that you would go about doing it is by sending yourself love, and then through love you would just automatically want to give whatever you have to the other person. Love is really the answer to anything that you need to be able to figure out. And through love you can connect to everything, and through love you can connect back to yourself and back to the universe, and you can then expand to become the entire universe. This is what we're doing here, you know. And then the next one I think is going to be about activating the light body and using the light body to travel and kind of like explore different dimensions and things. But this one is more of like just explaining the fractal nature of the universe and how we can actually use that knowledge to our advantage, and how we can really start to gain a lot of etheric information, and we can start to get a lot of nudges also. Like intuitive nudges will start to happen a lot more, because when you see everybody as being yourself, then everybody's suffering is also your suffering. When you see everybody as being yourself, everybody's happiness is also your happiness. Everybody's joy is also your joy. So when you look at somebody and you see them in a state of joy, then you literally become elated because you can feel their energy as if it was yours. And when you see another person in a state of sadness, then it's possible that you could just start crying because of how much suffering that they're going through, and you can feel that as if it was yours too. I've had that happen many a times. As soon as I see somebody, I just start crying, and that a lot of times releases the energy for them too. And it's very interesting how this kind of stuff works, you know, because once you realize that you are them, then you can actually release the energy for them because you are them. And then therefore you can relieve the suffering of other people by just kind of being around them. And all this stuff, it kind of compounds on itself, and it becomes more and more and more impressive. So the more that you learn about it, the more that it kind of like expands itself into a space where you can really see a lot, and you can really start to have some really, really profound revelations about everything, and you can start to see everything as being the universe and yourself. And it's something that is unbelievable, but also completely believable when you experience it at the same time. And the only reason it's completely believable is because it is you, and it is you experiencing yourself. And when you see that, you really see that. So I really hope this got through to somebody and helped somebody. And I'll probably make another one later today because it's been a couple days. I've just been recovering from this whole broken hand thing, fractured hand, whatever you want to call it. It's honestly really not that bad. I have kind of been enjoying the time to be able to take for myself. And also coming soon is a review of the Diamantina Lemurian quartz, and also Moldavite and Libyan desert glass separately as well, because I've been having some profound experiences. And then here's the Moldavite, and I also have a Herkimer diamond and a green ghost Lemurian point on there. And then on these, I'm thinking about starting a shop and starting to sell these kind of things, because this is a singing Lumerian point with a little piece of moldavite on it. But I've been wrapping these kind of necklaces, and I actually, in past life, I was a Reiki master, and I've lived with another Reiki master before, and like I honestly, like, I move energy very well, and I like to infuse energy into crystals, and to basically like amplify the power of them using my energy. And I would love to be able to just like kind of share that with other people as well. And I don't know, I've been really getting into it, you know, I've been really getting into crystals and stuff, so I would love to just start up something for that. And I hope people can get something from that too, because I don't know, personally, I don't like pricing things super high. I honestly want them to be whatever I would feel is fair, because I'm not in it to make a whole bunch of money. I'm more in it to be able to help out as many people as I possibly can. And I know through crystals I could send out a lot of my energy, and I promise, would make a huge difference to whoever got it. I know for a fact that I can put a lot of energy into these, and I know that I can send them out and you would feel it too. So that's just a thought that was on the back end. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll probably make another one later. Peace.